Cool. Um, I don't really got a name for this podcast that I'm doing. Man. I really don't. Um, this one gonna mean a lot to me. It's me talking about my neighborhood where I grew up at. And for anybody who knows me, the neighborhood I grew up, nickname is J Street. My father came up with the name. Um, yeah, so I don't know what to call this podcast yet, but it's like 1:30 in the morning. I just had the feeling, I had this on my heart. I think I just was time for me to express, you know, where I'm from and the neighborhood that really shaped me to be the person I am and keep me connected to my father as well. Um, yeah, so, ooh, um, J Street. What can I say about the neighborhood that raised me? It helped raise me as well. Um, Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, the north side of Wilmington, Delaware. J Street, short for Jefferson Street, the 20th block, the block that raised me, tattooed on me. Um, it was a neighborhood that really raised me all together. All the families on the block, just we was embraced by love in that neighborhood. Now I'm thinking about it even more as I'm talking. The neighborhood really branched out outside of just the 2-3 block radius that raised me because thanks to my dad and my uncle Art and countless other people, but they're the main two founders who started it. The J Street athletic programs that helped out the kids, which I was one of them, of course. Um, Countless of kids. We got people that went to the NFL that came out of our organization as well. So when it comes to my dad and my uncle and like I said, countless other people, they deserve their flowers. And but it all started from 20th and Jefferson, um, J Street. So in this pod, like everybody know me as Dave CO Coles, but in this pod, I'm son of a gun. My dad nickname was Gun, Shotgun. So they just call me son of a gun. And having my dad always there all my life, no matter what, with the neighborhood and the countless of uncles and cousins and family members that might not be real blood, but can't get no closer than that to me. Um, my dad put great people around me from that neighborhood, still to this day, and I appreciate him for that because when he left, a lot of people said they was gonna step up. Like I was grown, I'm grown, so I don't need people to step up, meaning like do things for me. But you know, a lot of people said they was gonna be there and check on me, but I can count on I can count on my hands who really still to this day is there. And honestly, the people that started on that block is still there with me. I get mad love from the Cobbs, the Turners, of course the Ames. The Ames is they just we locked in like like no other. But yeah, that's just that neighborhood there. Just thinking about it, I had a great childhood, and it's probably gonna be a couple parts of to this podcast. I just felt I just wanted to start it. I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm not pre-writing anything. I'm just talking from my heart about the neighborhood, and I think in talking about the neighborhood, I'm gonna talk about my father, like that I do miss very dearly. So back to this neighborhood. So this neighborhood is middle class, predominantly all black people. Great people, Literally, it was a neighborhood to where the kids could go in anybody's house and you didn't have to worry about anything. I can go into the Ames house, to the Cobb's house, the Pritchett's, the Bordleys, the Turners, you know, the Capers as well. Shout out to my cousin Sheik. Um, that 20th block was just us just running up and down the street all day, playing football in the middle of the street. Ain't worried about nothing. My grandparents come on the porch, they see us, they knew we was fine, they didn't have to worry about anything. This is a beautiful neighborhood, like literally. Um, as I get older, I understand a lot of things, but I do understand it takes a neighborhood to raise kids, and that neighborhood raised countless of kids. Um, and all of us are doing good and thriving in life. So that's accountability from the neighborhood, in my opinion. When it comes down and you think about it, the organization of J Street saved a lot of kids from going down the dark path. Some of them still went down the dark path though, but it saved a lot of kids. So when it comes to my dad and my uncle, and like I said, countless other people, I commend them because there is no checking this in youth, especially back in the day. Maybe now it might be different. Back when I was a kid, it was no checking it for my dad and my uncle and them. They did it out of love. Of course, they wanted the bragging rights. So I can say this with all facts behind me. J Street Raiders Wilmington football program is the most winningest program in Wilmington history. I said it. I stamped it. I got the proof. Uncle Art got all the trophies. We're the most winningest program in Wilmington history. It just shaped me to have the friends and the connections that I have because of what my dad and my uncle started. It just didn't start with football. They had a basketball program as well. They had a softball league. My dad was a multiple time All Star. My uncle as well. And then you can't forget about my uncle Leroy, the home run king. Um, it helped a lot to keep us active and keep us doing things. And not to say none of us didn't, when we got older, we didn't get into dumb stuff, but at that young age, we knew what right from wrong, and we stood on business. My neighborhood was a neighborhood where all the kids could be playing in the middle of the street. And if my grandma came home, Miss Pritchett came home, or even Miss Ames came home, I call her grandmom as well. Kids would stop playing in the middle of the street, make sure all the groceries are put into the house, and then we come back to play. Like that's how we was taught. I ain't gonna say trained. We was taught that. That was taught. That was out of respect. Respect your elders. If you go in somebody's house, be respectful. Like that's how we was brought up in that neighborhood, and to this day, it's morals that that sticks with all of us. All of us that are still connected, we still all have the same morals that was instilled in us at a young age. So that's why I say the neighborhood really raised us a lot. Um, just having the fun that we had, and my childhood was the best, man. I don't change my childhood for nobody. Nobody childhood, especially when it comes to J Street. That's to my heart. It means a lot. I carry it. Still to this day, carry that neighborhood very high. Like I said, it helped mold me and several others. But yeah. So J Street helped me fall in love with football. Um, at a young age, I knew I was playing football. I wanted to play it. I seen my god brother play it. Shout out to Artie. So in a way, J Street helped me have my path of what I went through, continue through my life. It started with J Street program, playing football and becoming a leader and stuff like that. That's where it all started because I seen my dad and my uncle leading the organization, leading men. So, me being son of a gun, I always wanted to have that. My pop is not never was the vocal leader the way my uncle was. So my dad let my uncle be the vocal leader, but my dad was the one in the back that knew you knew what his status was, and he didn't have to tell you. Just the way it always been. Even the stories I hear about him and my uncle are, my uncle was didn't nobody mess with my dad, and it's crazy because it's similar like that even now to this day. When it comes to me, I'm the chill, laid back one. I don't have any issues or no problems with nobody, but God forbid if I did, my cousins and them that I grew up with would be here in a heartbeat because they know I don't mess with nobody. So, this is, things that, that's always been like us. Me and my dad, like that's the similarities that we always had. Don't gotta be the center of attention. Don't care to be. Just be us, and we just know how to play our role, comfortable in our skin. Always. It's a beautiful thing, I think. It's a beautiful trait that I'm happy I picked up from my father. Don't gotta be doing stuff that's not comfortable to me. Always to me. And just having the neighborhood behind you. Just having the great things. Like I'm thinking of so much stuff right now, so I'm rambling, like I'm rambling. But that neighborhood was just like I said, you go to anybody's house, going to the Ames house on Wednesday, big pot of spaghetti. We all eating and having fun and laughing and joking and just enjoying life. Kids didn't have to worry about nothing. We was able to be kids. Um, no matter what. That's what we did. We was able to be kids, and our parents, allowed us to thrive being kids, especially at that young of age. We didn't have to worry about nothing at all. And that's why I say that the neighborhood was afforded to, allow us to do that. So we didn't get into much trouble as kids. Most people might get in trouble for knocking out a power line, knocking out a TV line, or knocking somebody's mirror off on a car because we playing football in the middle of the street or something. But nothing like devious. We wasn't doing nothing crazy. We didn't have that. And then when we did leave the neighborhood, we left the neighborhood as a group. So if we went to other neighborhoods, we was going as J Street. Whatever age we was at that age, it was all of us, and we was going together. Whether we was going up to Warner Park and play basketball, play football, PS, we went as a group. So my friends and my cousins, we never had to join a gang. We had enough of us in our neighborhood, and then our family was just that as well. So we didn't have to go on that. Not the same thing about people who join gangs. I mean, you do what you want, but I didn't have to. Never cared to. I had enough friends and family. I was straight. And that's another thing I get from my dad is, you just gotta be yourself and be comfortable and you'll be fine. And I always choose to do that and always chose to do that. Be fine to be comfortable in my own skin. Uh the block parties, on J Street was amazing. Block parties was also fundraisers that they used to help with the football program. So people didn't have to spend as much money when it came to equipment and stuff like that. My grandmother made the papers. I think I'm gonna put a clip in here. She was actually in the papers as well for making pies for the organization. Countless awards from city council from to my dad and my uncle for the organization just being such a bright spot in the city of Wilmington. I tell people this right now. I played Little League football, and I probably played in front of the most people in my life in Little League, and I did play high school ball as well. PS football stadium up there, packed on packed on for Sundays. It's 3 games going on. You got the midgets, pee wee, you got the midgets, juniors, seniors, and the whole stand is full. You're playing in front of the most people you ever seen They had the announcers calling your name. We had a scoreboard. They was giving us high school vibes when we was in little leagues. The way my dad and my uncle and countless of people had it set up for us to even play. And then when we went to eating part as well, the Friday night late games, we still had the stands. We had we playing with the lights, and we had the announcers calling our names to make plays. So they was really grooming us for high school. I tell people this: when I went to high school practice wasn't as hard as little league practice. I mean, that's how they ran the organization. They ran it like a high school program. They really got us ready for high school ball. Not to just keep talking about sports, but that was the main thing that where J Street was founded from. A sports organization, almost like an AAU style or older adult league style. Because my dad and them, when they got done playing, when they got done in high school and stuff, they still wanted to play ball. They still were young, and they just wanted to have fun and do things. So they came up with J Street, the organization, and then it just branched as they got older to other things. And then the kids, everybody having kids, so they wanted to build something for their kids as well. So that's where the organization, like, the foundation of it is off of sports. But it was more than sports, honestly, because for some people who didn't have parents, didn't have dads, I know my dad and my uncle Leroy as well was a lot of father figures to a lot of people who didn't have their dads. I know for sure my pop was the coolest dude, laid back as my pop was. Um, he had tight bonds with a lot of people. A lot of the players. Looked at my dad as their father figure, and my dad was one of them cool. My dad one of them ones that let you do what you gotta do, as long as you don't get in trouble, you don't bring too much drama. That's how my pop always was. So everybody always, went to Coach Dave, and my dad had great relationships with a lot of the players, and still to this day, when I see a lot of the players, they tell me, "Yo, I miss your pop," and you look like your pop, and I still hear all that to this day, and I appreciate it because that means my dad had an impact on somebody else's life. Like I share my dad with a lot of people. Um, I share my dad with a lot of people. Bro. Me and my sister share my dad with a lot of people when it came, especially when it came to the organization, which is fine. I'm cool. I'm happy with it. Like I'm happy my pop was able to touch a lot of people. Not just touch his kids. Um, of course, I'm always say, that's my dad. So I'm always say he instilled the most into me, but he actually instilled it into a lot of other people. As well. My cousin Dame will tell you right now. It just going to my house and talking to my dad when I'm not even there. My cousin, she could do the same thing. They pull up and they sit on the porch and bust it up with my dad for 20, 30 minutes before I even show up. So I seen my dad, father, be a father figure to other people as well. Of course, was the strong father itself. My dad's my goat. I say that every time I get a chance to say it. I've always been honored to carry his name, and in every way. There's never been no smut on my dad's name, and I pray to God there ain't no smut on my name as well. So our name stay clean out here. Yeah, this is this is a little bit harder than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah. So like I said, the neighborhood raised us. My dad had a lot to do with it. My uncle as well, and the things that I probably will talk about later on as I get more depth into it. It was just a heartfelt situation. Being there. It was a couple rules on J Street though. You start something, you finish it. Started with Pop Up Ames right there. He didn't play that. And I trickled down to everybody else. So you started something, you gotta finish it. That was always the rule of J Street. Even me, like if I go through my trials when I'm thinking about it, let's bring up a little story time. Down Dave's memory lane. I got great memory, so this is a story of me and my Pop Warner days, playing football. I think this is my senior year. So this is my senior. So you got like, I think you get 3 years or 4 years on each level. So this is my senior year. My senior years playing J Street football. Got into it with a coach, right? I'm playing for the J Street Raiders, of course. I'm playing for the home team. Get into it with a head coach. I mean, not the head coach. Get into it with assistant coach. Words with his stings. He pushed me down. I cussed him out. Whatever. Go back and forth. Whatever. Nothing too crazy. It wasn't child abuse or no shit like that. It was just, I had a disagreement. Got in his face. He pushed me. I get up, cuss him out, call him a bitch motherfucker, so whatever. Whatever. Mouth was reckless back in the day. So naturally, I don't want to play football with them. Shout out to my uncle. At this time, my dad is just, he's there, but he's not there. My dad is, he's always a part of the program, always get the love and respect from everybody, but my dad is not there every day. Of course, everybody knows I'm my dad's child, so, the respect level is always there out of, respect for my dad. So I don't want to play for that coach no more. So at that time, in order for you to play for another team, the organization founder, quote unquote, which is my uncle Art and my father as well, they got to sign off on the player being able to play. And so I'll never forget this. One of the realest conversations I ever had with my uncle Art. I wonder if you remember this. I hope he, when I put this out, I hope he hear it and listen to it. He comes to me, nephew, you want to play football? I say yes. Do you want to be a Raider? I say yes, but I don't want to play for him. And he like, well, nephew, I can't change the coaching staff because of you, blase, blase. But I'm willing to sign off on letting you play for any other team in the city of Wilmington. A lot of people didn't like it because they felt like it was favoritism towards me, letting me go. At this time, I am an all-star. I am a champion. Yes, I had all them accolades. Yes. So he let me play for another team, any team I wanted in the city. Shout out to Coach Boom. I took him through hell. He was actually my teacher at my school, administrator at my school, middle school I was at. So he always, he knew I could play football. He knew I understand the game. So he always wanted me to play. The incident got out. Everybody knew about what happened, and everybody knew I was quote unquote a free agent. I'm in Little League and I'm a free agent. It's just so fucking crazy when I think about it now. The Trojans wanted me, the Huskies wanted me, and Boom was over there in Southbridge at the Panthers. Yeah, they were the Panthers at this time. They were the Panthers. Naturally, I went with somebody that I knew. Not to say I didn't know other people, but somebody that I knew I had a real one-on-one relationship with, because me and him got cool. Like I said, he was at my administrator at my school. So I told Boom, I'll never forget it. I went to school the next day. I told Boom, I'm coming to play for you. He like, huh? He looking at me with a straight face, and I told him like flat out, like, yes. He like, you're not playing for J Street. You're not playing for your home team. Like, man, the incident happened and blah blah blah. He like, I heard about it, but I didn't know if it was true. But yeah, shout out to Boom. So I ended up playing against my my old team. We beat them the first time. We cheated a little bit. The Panthers cheated a little bit. It was a weight limit, for people to carry the ball. I carried the ball anyway. Well, we got the first dub, and I talked so much shit to the other coaches, to the old coaching staff, and I look back on it. I don't know how people put up with me. I was crazy back in the day, but that was me, wanting to beat my old team, which I did that day. But yeah, so that's where I say, like, the team, like my uncle and them say, you start something, you finish something. So you gotta play football. You're gonna play football this season, even if it's not for us. Like, that was like what they told me. Like, you can play football. Even if you don't want to play here, we're still gonna allow you to do what you want to do, and that's play football. So at the end of the day, I commend them and I thank them for that, because nobody else would ever do something like that. they probably would have made me sit out and not even let me play. But my uncle knew I loved the game. He knew I loved the game all day, so he allowed me to play. Um, Speaking of football, um, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. See the chain, see the background, tattooed them all. Thanks to my dad. My uncle Artis too. My uncle Leroy. My godmom, my Lord. Uh, we rep them hard. We die hearts around there. Shannon, Leroy, we all them, man. You name them, we pretty much all Cowboys fans. Artie, my god brother. Um, so that's another thing they instilled in us was the Cowboy Nation. I don't care how long ago the Super Bowl was. I was there and I remembered it. We had it at my grandmom's. And in the back of my grandma's house, she had an apartment back there. We had a big old Super Bowl party. Uncle Snakebite made the hottest wings in life history, and everybody ate them and drank beer all day long. I remember the Super Bowl. I remember it all. So yes, I am a true diehard Cowboys fan, and I was alive for all three of the '90s Super Bowls, but I only remember the last one. So for anybody try to say something, yeah, motherfucker, diehard Cowboys fan for sure. But we was called the J Street Raiders because my uncle said the Cowboy name was already taken at the time, so we couldn't be called the J Street Cowboys because that's definitely what it would have been. But nah, just growing up, like I said, in that neighborhood and seeing so many things that I seen was all positive. We didn't see negative stuff, honestly. We had to leave our neighborhood to see negative stuff. And I commend all the older generation that was above us, two generations above us, and of course our parents was one generation above us. For commending them, we didn't see nothing negative. All we seen was loving and caring. I mean, we got discipline. Don't say I'm not saying that, but like we didn't see no wild stuff. How these kids nowadays see wild stuff. We was grown from good stock, and I appreciate it because now I see my cousin Matt. Shout out to Matt. I see my cousin Leroy, Shannon. Even my sisters, um, who have kids. Um, you can see that the love and care that they have for their kids. They got it from their parents, which in reality all comes back from this one neighborhood, Day Street. So I know when I have my kid is definitely gonna get all this good J Street loving, and he gonna understand what it means to have that around him and have the care for him as well. I wish my grandparents was here. When I say that, I mean the Ames and the Coleses. To see me, I'm being selfish in this moment. I'm just talking about myself. See me and how I'm thriving because, of course, my grandparents, Coles, definitely poured into me, but the Ames did it. The Ames family poured into me as much as well. We live one house, literally away from each other, and I mean, no disrespect to my uncle Leroy and my aunt Laura and my uncle Art, because they definitely still to this day. But I'm talking about their parents. Poured into me just as much as they did, and the principles that they instilled is still here, and I appreciate them all. Like as I get older, I appreciate it more. When you're younger, you don't understand it. You don't understand why people hard on you. But as I get older, I appreciate it more. And same thing with the cops living right next to me, Mr. Cobbs, man. He catch you talking, he talk your head off, but he dropping jewels and you don't even know it. Um, he was a brilliant man as well. He deserved his flowers. Like I said, I'm not missing out on people. This is only like part one of who knows how many. Because there's Mr. Herman, um, R.I.P. Uncle Herb. Man, it's just so many people in that neighborhood that poured into me to make me as good as I am. And they seen the greatness always in me. When they see me now, they light up because they see me. They know I'm not doing nothing crazy. I'm not. running the streets. I'm not doing nothing. You know, they all happy for my success that I'm having in my life. You know, when you have that, you just can't do nothing but be grateful. And I am super, super beyond grateful for them people that who poured into my life, who poured into me, still pray for me to this day. You know, it's just when I sit back and I think about it, I have great people. I have still have great people in my life from that neighborhood, and I'm just beyond blessed. So, like I said, this is just part one. I don't want to ramble because I can ramble probably all night. I'm just thankful that I grew up on J Street. So, to the next time I see y'all, to the next time I put another chapter into this book that I'm doing, I thank y'all. J Street for life.